This thing on? Can't see, it's in the sunlight. Alright, I think it's on. Well, the numbers are moving. I'm going to try to hold the phone this way and use the high quality camera because the other way I couldn't tell where it was pointing. This is a in-depth look at our solar panels with our charge controller and our battery bank with a 1000 watt 2000 peak or starting power inverter. This is a 12 volt system, so we have two 12 volt panels. They are wired for 12 volt, they are not wired 24. Parallel would be 12, serial would be, I think that's what it was called. No, yeah, anyway, they're wired 12. It's a 12 volt charging, so you're actually bringing in about 15 volts off from both of these panels. They are 100 watt monocrystalline, which handle the heat better. I've had these panels for about maybe 4 years now. I'd like to get more. That's how it is with solar. Once you get some, you just want to keep getting more of it because you want more and more and more power. Americans are greedy that way, I guess. More power, more money. Anyway, that's besides the point. I do not have, I ordered these from Amazon. They were right around a little over $100 each, free shipping. They are a little bit cheaper now as technology advances and people are making more of these because there's more of a market for them. People are getting the prices down. As you can see, these are actually at a good angle for the way everything is right now. It's just a couple folding chairs. Eventually they'll need to be replaced. They're getting a little rusty. This is a longer than it should be run of wire. It goes all the way. It just kind of goes under the grass. Grass is growing over it. I used to move these between winter and summer, and right now it's winter time. It's January, and this gets the most exposure of sun because we have a lot of trees around this area. Not like immediate trees so much, but just like the trees that are far away will even block my sun. So the line goes all the way along past the banana plants, all the way up here. I'm going to shut the gate. Keeps the animals out and away from the chickens. There, secure. Now, I'm going to walk way up here. And the wire comes up. And I went to a dumpster a long time ago and I found like a 200-foot extension cord. And I believe it had number 10 wire in it, stranded, which is good. So if you're going to have a long run, you're going to want a thicker wire. And that's going to make you're not going to have so much of a line loss, as they call it. It comes through, it comes all the way through here. This conduit is actually going to go out back. I wasn't paying attention. This conduit, my foot, is actually going to be a line that runs out back for solar into the back patio room. I haven't finished that at all. So then we run over here past the trailer hitch here into our battery bank, which is two AGM absorbed glass mat batteries in there, and they're kind of smaller ones. I got those on Amazon as well, and I don't know if I can flip this up. You could even possibly see in there. Nah, you can't. It's too dark. There is our little Harbor Freight 1000 watt inverter. So we have the line that comes in. This is orange. This is from our solar panels. It goes up. The charge controller is in the garage. I'll go in there in a minute. In fact, let's go in there right now. I have the inverter on, but the lights are off. This switch is I wired in for solar. It's charging the battery for my drill, battery for my leaf blower thing here. This thing, leaf blower, yard blower. It works really good. My brother gave this to me years ago because he decided not to do any yard work anymore. So I flipped this switch, and now we've got one, two, three, four LED daylight style bulbs on. And I leave the little strings on there as I wired them up so I can do zone lighting. The garage is a disaster, of course. This is where I work, so of course it's a disaster. I'll try to keep the camera up so you don't see so much of that. And over here, as I get through, is the charge controller. We are right now at between 13 and 12.9 volts in the battery bank. This is also a Harbor Freight charge controller. We are bringing in 4.2 amps, almost 4.3, but 4.2 amps from that long run from 2 solar panels. Wattage, you're only going to get about 85% of your maximum wattage from a panel, even in like perfect conditions, maybe 87%. And that is actually there. Another outlet I made to run other things off of the solar panel, off from the battery bank actually. I don't run anything directly from the solar panels. Solar panels are what you would think of in this scenario, a battery charger. So it charges your batteries, and then your inverter hooks to your batteries. That gives you your 110 volt power. This is not a pure sine wave inverter. It's a modified sine wave, and you can do some research on that because they always say don't run computers off from it. I have run computers off from it when we had we had a hurricane back in 2017. We ran a fan, a box fan, the modem, the internet router, and a TV all night for the kids, and a DVD player all day and all night off from the battery bank as it would charge, because we didn't have power for about 4 days. Only time I ran the gas generator was for keeping the refrigerator and freezers cold. I would run that every couple hours. But other than that, because we couldn't hardly get any gas around here at that time as well either. And I went with the 1,000-watt inverter because the coffee machine works on like 700 or 800 watts. The small one does. And even in a thunderstorm, or if you lose power in the middle of the night and you wake up in the morning, we're not the kind of people that go and buy coffee. Well, they would be all, the gas station would probably be out of coffee too. So how are you going to get your morning coffee? Well, you plug it in here, your inverter, and we always usually have a bottle of water sitting around. That way we can always have it and you usually have a little bit of water left in the, because we have a well, so then we would still have a little bit of water before the pump would have to kick on. So we have some water in reserve so we can make the coffee to be able to function, to keep the children alive long enough for the power to come back on. Or we can at least then decide what we're going to do to supply our own power. Now let me see if I got something here that I can plug in to show you. Well, there's a skill saw. I think it works. We'll just plug it in here real quick. Show you what you can run. Take this into this thing. See, the cord out of the blade. There we go. It will run and cut. Of course, that actually, with the lights on, that actually tripped the safety of the inverter. So I have to reset it. And that inverter is not really all that good, I don't think. There's a lot better inverters. But I've run the electric pole saw here. I run that off from it. I run the electric chainsaw, the sawzall, all the grinders, the power drills, and all that kind of stuff off from it. So it's actually a very good system. Trying to think of anything else that may be of interest. If you have a shorter run, you will generate more power. So the closer your solar panels are to your battery bank, or even your charge controller, essentially that's your best bet. You don't want to have this long run because I'm generating a lot of power out there. But the problem is, by the time it gets up, it loses so much every so many feet, that by the time it gets up there, I'm only getting 4 amps. When I had it up real close to the house, like in the summertime, the sun is in a different area here. Like in the wintertime, it's more back here. But in the summer, it's more way up front. So I even used to take the solar panels and put them up there by the garage, and I had a really short run, like only like maybe 15-20 feet, and I would bring in about almost, it was like 7, almost 8 amps sometimes. So that is essentially our power. I mean, it's small, but in a pinch, and it pays for itself because I run all of the lights in the garage, as you saw, off from it. And the other day I actually ran my scoring perforating machine off from it, and the heat gun. I can run the shrink wrap machine on it. So I've been trying to run a few more things on it as I go, just to keep it going and make it pay for itself. And paying for itself by just running the lights in the garage. I've actually done quite a few months in comparison, and I save roughly about $4 to $5 every month. And it's not that much, but $5 in 10 months is 50 bucks, 11 months 55. So you're looking at 60 bucks a year, almost pays for one solar panel. And I got and a lot of time, well, I run my computer now. I run that on the regular power. And sometimes the normal grid power will go down and the lights will still be on. I don't even know it. Because there was absolutely no fluctuation and no disruption in my lighting. Or if I'm running, something small off from it, working on something, then I don't even know. Let me say the panels at that inverter was about, I think it was like $70 or $80, which I know you can get cheaper, better ones, and you'd even get one with a remote control. The batteries were cheaper at the time. They were about $70 for the pair. And the charge controller was way overpriced, but I wanted one right at the time. At the 30 amp charge controller from Harbor Freight, that was like 70 bucks, which I bought 2 other ones now that were just as good, that were cheaper. They were like $23. And they even have USB ports built right into them, so you can charge your phone off from that, right from the USB port on the charge controller. Whereas with this one, it does not have that. I do not run anything off from the charge controller itself, because it would, as soon as a cloud goes by, then there's no more power. And then you risk, even on a semi-cloudy day, running something at low voltage, which is not good. It's good either. That's the port for running directly off from this charge controller. There's the out to the battery, and there is the in from the solar panels. And like I said, that actually turns on power to go out from the charge controller. It's no good. This is the one that, I click this, and I have to click it a few times, and that's telling me right there that there's nothing running off from charge controller. And if I have to push it a bunch of times to get it to work right. It's not a real good charge controller. 4.3 we're bringing in, so it's not a multiple power port, MPTTPP or whatever. I didn't get into all that fancy stuff. I just wanted something to regulate the power that was coming in to the battery bank from the solar panels. Maybe at some point I'll invest into something like that, but I doubt it. I got this another one out in the shed that's actually a fairly decent one.